I woke up in a hospital bed and couldn't feel my legs. And before I could even process that I might never walk again, my mom was already telling me I was overreacting, that I'd be fine, that my brother needed them more. Because while I was lying there with a broken spine waiting for surgery, they chose his launch party over me. The same launch party I had quietly funded with nearly $180,000, every dollar I earned working myself into the ground. And even from that hospital bed, they still called asking me to send more money like nothing had happened, like I was still just their backup plan. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't bad timing. This was a pattern, years of it, and I was the one paying for it. And the moment I stopped sending money, everything in their world started to fall apart. Deals collapsing, calls getting ignored, the perfect image they built starting to crack. And I realized something I should have seen years ago. This wasn't just a family story. This was the beginning of my revenge. And I didn't even have to chase it. I just had to stop giving, because the second I did, they showed me exactly who they were. This is Eloise C., and this is the story of the moment I finally chose myself. Chapter 1. The Morning They Didn't Come. The first thing I learned that morning wasn't that my spine was broken, it was that my family wasn't coming. I came back to myself in pieces, a steady beep to my left, a weight pressing into my chest, air that felt thinner than it should have. When I tried to turn my head, pain shot down my neck and into my back so fast it made my vision blur. That was when I knew something was seriously wrong. The ceiling above me was flat hospital white, the kind that never lets you forget where you are. The air smelled clean in that cold, chemical way that didn't feel comforting at all. A nurse leaned into my view when she noticed I was awake. Her voice was calm, practiced, like she had done this 100 times. She said, "You're at Denver Presbyterian. You were in a car accident early this morning." I tried to speak, but my throat burned. "You have multiple fractures in your spine," she added gently. "The doctors stabilized you, but you'll need surgery. There's a risk to your mobility." Mobility. She didn't say the word, but it settled between us. I swallowed and forced out the question that mattered. "My family? Are they here?" She hesitated just for a second. "They've been contacted." That wasn't what I asked. I stared at the door, waiting for it to open, waiting for my mom to rush in, already taking control, waiting for my dad to follow, steady and quiet. The door opened. It wasn't them. It was Marcus Hale. He looked like he'd left his place without thinking, shirt wrinkled, hair slightly off, a coffee in his hand he hadn't touched. He stopped when he saw me, like he needed a second. "Hey," he said softly, pulling a chair closer. "Don't try to talk." He sat down and leaned forward, studying my face like he was checking if I was still here. "I got the call from the office. I came as soon as I heard." I shifted my eyes toward the empty space again. He understood immediately. "I called your mom, told her everything." A small pause. "She said they're dealing with something important, but they'll come as soon as they can." Something important. I closed my eyes for a second. I already knew. My brother's launch party. The one in San Diego. The one he'd been planning for months. The one I helped pay for, piece by piece, telling myself it was temporary. I remember wiring money late at night after long days at work, convincing myself it was an investment in family. I remember skipping trips, putting off things I wanted, telling myself there would be time later. There was always a reason to say yes back then. Marcus watched me. "They are coming, right?" I didn't answer, because saying it out loud would make it real. He stayed anyway, talked about work, said the team had everything covered. told me not to worry about anything except getting through surgery. He was trying to keep things normal. Nothing about this felt normal. Time moved strangely. Nurses came and went. The machines kept their rhythm. The pain dulled for a while, then came back sharper, reminding me exactly where I was. My parents didn't show up. By evening, I had stopped listening for footsteps. That's when my phone rang. Marcus handed it to me. "Your mom." I answered. "Hi." She said, "Oh, sweetheart," like nothing was wrong. "How are you feeling?" "I have surgery in the morning. It's serious." She replied quickly, "I know, Marcus told us everything." There was noise behind her, voices, music, laughter that didn't belong here. She didn't ask anything else. "Listen," she continued, "we're in San Diego right now for your brother's event. You know how important this is." Of course I did. "I paid for it." "Well, you helped because you care about your brother." I let that sit. Every light in that room, every drink, every smiling face, I paid for it, and they still didn't come. She told me they loved me, said they'd be thinking about me tomorrow. Then the line went dead. I lowered the phone slowly, my hand shaking. The room felt quieter after that, even with the machines still running. I stared at the ceiling and felt something shift inside me, not loudly, not all at once, just enough to notice. I didn't know what I was going to do yet, but I knew this wasn't just bad timing. This was a choice, and for the first time I stopped trying to explain it away. Something in me didn't break that day. It changed, and I knew with a certainty that settled deep in my chest that what came next would change everything.
Chapter 2. Everything I gave, everything they took. They took me into surgery before the sun was fully up. The hallway dim and quiet except for the wheels of the bed and the low hum of machines. A nurse walked beside me, asking me to confirm my name, my birthday, the procedure. I answered automatically, like I had practiced it, even though my mind felt somewhere else entirely. Marcus stood near the double doors, hands in his pockets, watching me like he was trying to stay calm for both of us. "You sure you don't want to wait a little longer?" he asked. "For who?" I said. He didn't have an answer for that. They stopped my bed just outside the operating room. The lights above were brighter here, almost harsh. I stared up at them, blinking slowly. "You'll be okay," Marcus said. "I'll be right here when you wake up." I wanted to believe him. The doors opened and they rolled me in. The room was cold, too bright, too controlled. People moved around me with purpose, adjusting equipment, speaking in short, focused sentences. A mask came down over my face. "Count back from 10, someone said. I remembered thinking about money. It came out of nowhere, but once it started, I couldn't stop it. $25,000 for the first version of Tyler's app. He had called me past midnight, excited, desperate, convinced this was his shot. $15,000 more when he said marketing would make or break him. $8,000 for legal work because he wanted everything done right. Then the event. $12,000 for the venue alone, another few thousand for catering, lights, everything that made it look like success. There were smaller amounts too, $8,000 here, $500 there, always urgent, always temporary. By the time I stopped counting, it was somewhere over $160,000. That wasn't extra money. That was my life. That was every late night, every canceled plan, every time I told myself I would rest later. I made it to 6 before everything went dark. When I woke, the first thing I noticed was the absence. Not silence, absence. I tried to move my legs. Nothing. I tried again, harder this time, focusing all my attention on the smallest movement. Still nothing. I felt my chest tighten. "I can't feel my legs," I said, the words coming out uneven. A doctor stepped into view, calm but alert. "That can happen after a surgery like this," she said. "Your spine went through significant trauma. There is swelling. It can affect sensation." "Can?" I repeated. "It may be temporary," she added. May. Marcus was there again, in the same chair, like he had not moved. "You're okay," he said. "You made it through." I stared at him. "Am I?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. The rest of that day blurred together. Nurses adjusting IV lines, checking vitals, asking me to rate pain that didn't feel like it fit on any scale they gave me. At one point, a nurse helped me sit up. It took both of us. I couldn't do it on my own. "Try to move your legs again," she said gently. I looked down at them. They didn't feel like mine anymore. I focused, tried to send something down, any signal at all. Nothing. My throat tightened, but I didn't cry. Not yet. The next morning, I reached for my phone. I should have known better. Tyler had posted pictures. Him on stage, smiling like everything had finally come together. Investors around him, shaking his hand. My parents standing beside him, dressed like they belonged in that room, proud, glowing. The caption read like a victory speech. "No one believed in me, but I proved them wrong." I stared at that line longer than anything else. No one. Marcus noticed the way I was holding the phone. "You don't have to look at that," he said quietly. I turned it face down. "It's fine," I said. It wasn't. A nurse came in to help me adjust my position. She had to lift part of my weight, guide me slowly, carefully, like I might break. "You'll get stronger," she said. I nodded, even though I didn't know if that was true. My phone buzzed. I knew who it was before I picked it up. "Hi," I said. "Oh, sweetheart," my mom said. "You would not believe how incredible last night was." I closed my eyes. "That's good," I said. "It really was," she continued. "People were so impressed with Tyler. This is exactly what he needed." She didn't ask how I was. Not once. Then her voice shifted just slightly. "He has a meeting with a major investor this week. It's important." I stayed quiet. "He needs to look professional," she continued. "He found a blazer he likes. It's about $400. I felt something cold settle in my chest. "Can you send it to him today?" she asked. I looked down at my legs again. "I can't even stand up," I said. "I know," she replied quickly, "but this is different. Your brother needs this more than you do right now." The words hit harder than anything else had. More than the surgery, more than the pain. "Do you know what just happened to me?" I asked. "Of course we do," my mom said, "but stressing yourself out isn't going to help you heal." That wasn't an answer. "I might not walk again," I said. There was a pause. "You need to stay positive, Elowen," she said. "You've always been strong." Then softer, like she was trying to keep things simple. "So can you send the money?" I tightened my grip on the phone. In that moment, everything lined up. The numbers, the excuses, the way every conversation with them somehow turned into what they needed next. I paid for that room they were standing in, every light, every drink, every moment they were celebrating, and they still didn't come. "We'll visit soon," she said, "once things settle down here." That wasn't what I asked. The call ended a few seconds later. I lowered the phone and stared at it. The room felt smaller. The nurse came back in asking if I needed help, if I wanted water, if I was comfortable. I shook my head. I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't okay. And for the first time, I stopped trying to convince myself that any of this was normal. I saw it clearly. Not just that they weren't there, but that they were still taking, even now, even like this. And the worst part was,
I knew this wasn't the last time they were going to ask.
The messages kept coming after that, stacking on top of each other until I stopped opening them right away. My phone would buzz against the thin hospital blanket, and I would just stare at it for a second before turning it over. It was always the same. We need to figure this out. He has another meeting. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. No one asked how I was doing. Not once. I told myself I didn't care, but I still read every message eventually, like I was trying to prove something to myself. Maybe that there was something else buried in there, some sign that they saw me. There wasn't. Marcus came in late that afternoon, quieter than usual. He set a bag down beside the chair and looked at me like he wasn't sure where to start. "They called again," he said. "My mom?" I asked. He nodded. "HR this time. She asked if there was any way to move up your next bonus." I let out a short breath that almost sounded like a laugh. "She's getting creative," I said. Marcus didn't smile. I shut it down, but they sounded persistent. "They always are," I said. For a second, neither of us said anything. "You don't owe them anything," he added. I looked at him. "I know," I said. But the truth was, I wasn't sure I believed it yet. After he left, the room felt too quiet again, the kind of quiet that makes your thoughts louder. I shifted slightly, or tried to, and had to stop when the pain hit. A nurse came in to help me reposition. "Let me do most of the work. You're not there yet." Not there yet. I nodded, letting her guide me. It took effort just to adjust a few inches. When she stepped back, I felt exhausted in a way that didn't match the movement. "Try your legs again when you're ready," she said. I looked down. They still didn't feel like mine. I focused, tried to move something, anything. Nothing. For a second, a thought crossed my mind that I didn't want to follow. What if this doesn't change? I pushed it away. My phone buzzed again. I didn't pick it up. The sun went down slowly, the light in the room shifting from pale to dim. By the time night settled in, the hallway outside was quieter, the sounds more spaced out. That was when Sarah came in. She checked my chart, adjusted the IV, then paused like she was deciding something. "Can I ask you something?" she asked. "Sure." "Do you have anyone staying with you at night?" she asked. I almost said yes out of habit. "No," I said instead. She nodded slowly. "There's been someone coming by," she said. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "A woman," she said. "She shows up late, stands outside your room, asks about you, then leaves." My stomach tightened as I heard her say that. "Does she come in?" I asked. "No," she said. "She never crosses the doorway." "That's strange." She added, "I thought she was family, but she never signs in and she doesn't stay long." My stomach tightened in a way that felt different from everything else. "What does she ask?" I said. "Specific things," she replied. "About your surgery, your recovery, what you like." "What I like," I repeated. Sarah nodded. "She asked if you still read at night, if you preferred lavender over anything else." I stared at her. My family didn't know that. "Did you tell her?" I asked. "No," she said. I assumed she already knew. She walked over to the cabinet and pulled out a small bag. "She left this earlier," she said. I opened it slowly. A book. Not just any book. The one I had been meaning to buy for months but never got around to. There was lotion too, lavender, and a small box of chocolate I used to order on nights when work got too heavy. My chest tightened in a way that felt different from everything else. "This isn't random," I said quietly. "No," Sarah agreed. For a moment, a different kind of thought slipped in. What if this wasn't concern? What if someone had been watching me? I looked toward the door without meaning to. "Do you want me to call security?" Sarah asked. I hesitated. "No," I said finally. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the hallway felt closer than it should have. Every set of footsteps made me hold my breath. Around midnight, I heard voices just outside my door. soft, controlled. "Is she stable?" a woman asked. "Yes," Sarah replied. "She's doing as well as we expected." "Is she in pain?" the woman asked. "It's being managed." There was a pause. "Thank you," the woman said. I stared at the ceiling, listening to her footsteps fade. I could have called out. I didn't. In the morning, there was something new on the table beside me. A folded card. My hands were unsteady as I picked it up. The handwriting was careful, almost hesitant. I shouldn't be here, but I couldn't stay away. I read it once, then again. "She came back," I said when Marcus walked in. He looked at the card. "Do you know who it is?" I shook my head. "She knows things," he said. "Things no one else does." "That's not normal," he said. I know, but it didn't feel wrong. It felt intentional, like someone had been paying attention. All day I kept thinking about it. Who she was, why she was there, why she stayed outside. My phone buzzed again with another message I didn't open. I barely noticed. That night, when Sarah came in, I looked at her and said, "If she comes back, let her in." Sarah studied me for a second. "You're sure?" she asked. "No," I said, "but I need to know." The room felt different after that. Not empty, not quiet, waiting. And somewhere deep down, I knew this wasn't random. I just didn't know yet why she had chosen me, or how long she had been there, or what she was waiting for. But I knew one thing. She wasn't done with me yet. The door didn't open right away. I heard her voice first, quieter than before, closer this time, like she had finally decided to stop standing on the other side. "Is she awake?" she asked. "She is," Sarah said. "Do you want me to come in with you?" There was a pause, longer than it should have been. "No," the woman said. "I think this part needs to be just us." The handle turned slowly. I didn't look at her right away. I stared at the ceiling, letting the moment stretch out, because something in me already knew this wasn't small. My chest felt tight, like I was about to step into something I couldn't step back out of. Then I turned my head. For a second, I didn't understand what I was seeing. It wasn't just that she looked familiar. It was the way it hit me, sudden and quiet at the same time. "Hi," she said softly. Her voice felt like it belonged somewhere in my past, but I couldn't place it. I studied her face, the shape of her eyes, the way she held herself. "Why do you look like me?" I asked before I could stop myself. She exhaled slowly, like she had been waiting to hear that. "Because we're family," she said. The word landed, but it didn't settle. "Who are you?" I asked. "My name's Caroline," she said. The name moved through my mind, searching for a place to land. It didn't find one. "You don't remember me," she said, not as a question. I shook my head. "You wouldn't," she added. "They made sure of that." Something in my chest tightened. "Who did?" I asked. "Your parents," she said. The room felt smaller. "I'm your aunt," she said. "Your mother's sister." I stared at her, trying to force a memory that wasn't there. "I've never heard of you," I said. "I know," she replied. She took a step closer, slow, careful, like she didn't want to push too far. "I was cut off from the family almost 20 years ago because I wouldn't stay quiet." "About what?" I asked. Her eyes held mine. "About you," she said. The word hit harder than I expected. "They were already treating you differently, even back then. Everything was about your brother, what he needed, what he wanted. You were the one expected to adjust." I swallowed. "That's not," I started, then stopped. "Because it was. I told them it wasn't right, that they were putting too much on you, that they were turning you into the one who would carry everything." "And they cut you off for that?" I asked. She nodded once. "Just like that." I looked down at my hands. "I told them you left," I said.
that you didn't want anything to do with us." "I never left you," she quietly said. "I just wasn't allowed back." Silence filled the room. "Then how do you know all this?" I asked. She reached into her bag and pulled out a thin folder. I stayed close in the only way I could. She handed me a few papers. "I paid for your college," she said. I blinked, trying to process it. "What?" I said. "The scholarships you received," she continued. "They were real. I just made sure they existed." I looked down at the documents, my hands unsteady. "You did that?" I said. She nodded. "I wanted you to have something that was yours, without conditions." My chest tightened again, but this time it felt different. "They knew," I said slowly. Her expression shifted. "Yes," she said. The word didn't just land, it sank. "I knew someone was helping me," I said, my voice shaking. "They knew it was me," she said. I felt something crack open inside me. "And they still," I started. "Let you keep giving," she finished. A memory surfaced without warning. My mom telling me Tyler just needed a little more time. My dad saying family comes first. The way they never told me to stop. "They knew I had help," I said, my voice shaking. "And they still let me do all of it?" "They counted on it," she said. I covered my mouth, trying to steady myself. "All those years, I thought I was being a good daughter." She didn't interrupt. "I thought that was love," I added. Her voice was quiet when she answered. "That wasn't love." Tears blurred my vision. "Then what was it?" I asked. "It was control and convenience." The words settled in a place I had been avoiding for years. "You don't have to keep doing this," she said. "Doing what?" I asked. "Taking care of them, at your expense." I let out a breath that didn't feel like relief. "They're my family," I said. She met my eyes. "That doesn't mean they get to use you." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. I didn't want to answer, but I did. "Hi," I said. "Aloin," my mom said immediately. "We need to move quickly on something. Tyler has another opportunity. It's big." I closed my eyes. "He needs $10,000 by the end of the week. This is not about you right now. This is about his future." The words hit harder than anything else had. I opened my eyes and looked at Caroline. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. "Aloin," my mom said. I didn't answer right away. I looked down at my legs, still unresponsive. I thought about the money, the years, the nights I stayed up convincing myself it would be worth it. "Aloin," she said again. I tightened my grip on the phone. "No," I said. Silence. "What?" she said. I let the moment stretch this time. "No," I repeated. "You don't mean that," she said. I looked at Caroline again, then back at the ceiling. "I do," I said. The line went quiet. Something inside me shifted, not painfully, but clearly. For the first time, it didn't feel like I was losing something. It felt like I was finally choosing myself. And I knew, whatever came next, I wasn't going back. Chapter 5. The Life I Finally Chose. I left the hospital with a brace, a careful step, and a kind of quiet I didn't recognize at first. It wasn't empty. It wasn't heavy. It just didn't ask anything from me. Caroline drove us out before the city fully woke up. The roads were still, the sky pale. I watched everything pass without trying to hold on to it. "You don't have to decide anything today," she said. "Just get through today." I nodded. That felt enough. Her place in Boulder was simple, warm, nothing like the house I grew up in. There were books everywhere, soft light, nothing arranged for show. It felt lived in. "This is yours," she said, opening the door to a quiet room at the back. "Stay as long as you need. No expectations, no conditions." The first few weeks were slow. Physical therapy in the mornings, rest in the afternoons. Some days I could feel something faint in my legs, like a signal trying to come back. Other days, nothing changed. Try again, the therapist would say. And I did. Not because I believed it would work that time, but because I had stopped needing immediate proof. Caroline stayed close without hovering. "You don't have to earn your place here," she told me once. That was harder to believe than anything else. My phone still lit up sometimes. Messages from my mom, calls from Tyler. I didn't answer. At first, it felt wrong. Then, it didn't. One morning, I opened the messages and read them all the way through. "We need to talk. This is getting serious. You can't ignore this." Then the shift. "How could you do this to your brother? We raised you better than this. This is not who you are." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I blocked the number. The silence that followed felt lighter. Months passed. I got stronger, slowly, not all at once, not in a way that anyone would notice from the outside, but enough. Enough to stand without help for a few seconds, enough to take a step, then another. The first time I crossed the room on my own, I stopped halfway, not because I had to, but because I realized I was doing it. Caroline watched from the doorway. "That matters," she said. I nodded, my throat tight. I started writing again around that time. At first, it was just notes, small pieces that didn't go anywhere. Then it became something more. "You should keep going," Caroline said. "There's something real in it." So I did. The pages added up. Not fast, not perfectly, but steadily. When I sent it out, I didn't expect anything. When it got accepted, it felt quiet. Not like winning, like something settling into place. Around the same time, Tyler called again. I let it ring once, then answered. "Hey," he said, his voice tight. "I need to talk to you." I waited. "The investors backed out. They said the numbers don't hold. They're questioning everything now. I'm getting calls I can't answer. I just need time to fix it." I said nothing. "I don't have anyone else," he added. "Everyone's pulling away. You're not going to let me lose everything, right?" I looked out the window. "No," I said. Silence. "What do you mean, no?" he asked. "I mean, I'm not sending anything," I said. "You can't do that," he said. "This is bigger than you." I almost laughed. "You built this," I said quietly. "You can figure it out." The call ended quickly after that. The messages came fast. From him, from my mom. "You're being selfish. Family takes care of each other. We raised you better than this. After everything we've done for you." Then anger, then blame, then nothing. I blocked all of it. Work came back slowly, part-time at first, then full-time. I wasn't trying to prove anything anymore. I just did what I was good at. A few months later, I got promoted. It didn't feel dramatic. It felt earned. The writing found its way out into the world not long after that. People read it. Some of them wrote back. That mattered more than anything else. One evening, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I answered. "Elowen," my father said. I didn't respond right away. "Your mother is sick," he said. "It's serious." I closed my eyes. "What kind of sick?" I asked. "Cancer," he said. "Late stage." The word stayed there, heavy. "She wants to see you," he added. I sat with it. For a moment, everything pulled in different directions. Habit, guilt, memory. The version of me from before would have said yes without thinking, would have gone back without asking what it would cost me. I opened my eyes. "I'm sorry," I said. There was a pause. "You're not coming?" he asked. "No," I said. Silence. "I hope she gets the care she needs," I added. The call ended. I sat there for a while, waiting for the guilt to hit the way it used to. It didn't. There was sadness, there was something like loss, but it didn't pull me backward. Caroline found me a few minutes later. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. "I think I am," I said. She sat beside me without saying anything else. That was enough. I looked around the room, at the life I had built without even realizing it, the quiet, the steadiness, the absence of constant demand. For the first time, it felt like mine. You don't owe survival to people who only show up when they need something. Family isn't the people who only show up when they need something. It's the people who show up when you do. If you've ever felt like you had to earn your place by giving everything away, remember this. You don't owe anyone your life just because they share your blood. No is a complete sentence. If this story meant something to you, stay with me, share your thoughts below, and follow along for more stories that might feel a little closer to your own.